Good day, my fellow Lightwalkers, and welcome to Namaste Today, a spiritually nutritious way to start off your day. I'm your heartfelt host and the Sensei to Serious Joy, Christopher Witecki. This audio blogcast is meant for Tuesday, June 13, 2017. So glad to connect to you. Namaste. Looking at the planets, it's a quantum day with quantum revelations. Today we wake up to step 22 and we have a soul harmonic of 13 degrees. In today's Zodiac weather, I'll give you the tips on how to survive the day. And later in our tea time, looking at all this Uranus energy, it is time for you to be stronger than ever. But first, let's take a look at today's moods and your Zodiac weather. This Zodiac weather is for Tuesday, June 13, 2017. And my global forecast for planet Gaia is sunny and super cosmic today. We have a soul harmonic of step 4, I belong, and a step 22 kickoff leads to a breakthrough. Let's take a look at the planets. Things may feel a bit bizarro in the next 24 hours. That's because we have a soul harmonic going on right now of Uranus energy. The Sun is at step 22, which adds to a 4 Uranus. Mercury is at step 13, which adds to a 4 Uranus. Jupiter is at step 13, which adds to a 4 Uranus. Black Lilith is at step 13, which adds to a 4 Uranus. And later today, the Moon will shift to step 13 Aquarius, which adds to a 4 in the sign of 4. That's a lot of law of attraction going on. That's how I really boil down what step 22 is. It is the one thing that the universe is based on. What your heart desires will attract its equal. Now, the problem is the rest of us, that is our ego, our mind, our emotions, all these other states, the rest of us tends to resist, to get in the way of the universe trying to bring us what we want. And every so often, God will lay down a large soul harmonic like this, which basically tickles like 4 parts of yourself at the very same time, so you may be let up, let go, and see where you end up. My solid advice today is that resistance is futile. The law of attraction is kind of just like seeing 2 magnets go together. Don't try to get in the way of the 2 magnets. Rather, make way for the 2 magnets. Make way for the parts of your life that want to come together on their own. I find that when we resist these sorts of changes, that's when things get a lot harder. Now, the good news is that we are transiting Gemini, which means that all this shifting going on, or law of attraction, will mostly happen in our minds. That's what we're updating this week and this month. With the Sun in Gemini, we're attempting to think differently. But now the universe is saying it's time to think on a higher level, and it's time to bring several parts of yourself along with that higher thinking. In fact, we're going to have a 24-hour soul pyramid in air, which is a grand trine in air, triggered by the Moon in Aquarius. It'll begin a grand trine today at exactly step 13 with Mercury and Jupiter, and it will transition to the Sun through tomorrow morning. That means that from your feelings, you will begin to feel, not think, feel that you belong on another level, which will then inspire your thinking to also shift. Now, the different consciousness that are in play today are, for one, your mind. The Sun is at step 22, Mercury's at step 13. So I'm expecting the biggest shift is in your thinking or your attitude in the next 24-36 hours. But what's included in this shift is, for one, Jupiter direct at step 13. And Jupiter is saying it's time for a new philosophy in what you believe is fair, balanced, and harmonious to you. So the future that the universe is trying to bring us to is a harmonious one. One where things are equal, one where you're not behind, one where you are getting what you deserve, and one that you are getting the treatment and respect that you give others. Now, Jupiter and the Sun then trine into the Moon for the next 24 hours or so, and the Moon is our emotions, and that may be where the spiritual work may lie, especially on a step 22 day. Step 22 is my feelings about this and my feelings about that means I belong, insert the blank. So your feelings may be what's both guiding you, and your feelings may be what's holding you back from emotionally realizing the level you belong on. Once you can feel the level you belong on, then you will instantly understand what is fair, because the level you belong on is fair, and you will instantly understand the attitude and the logic you should take. Other than the moon and our feelings, there's one other spot that may have great influence in this soul harmonic equation, and that is old Black Lilith at step 13 Sagittarius. This means, in a simple sense, that we are facing fears, Black Lilith, about certain beliefs, okay, which is Sagittarius. Step 13 suggests that we're going to change what this core belief is. In fact, the core belief that we may have to change in Jupiter, in Mercury, and in the moon later today may be this Black Lilith hiccup. In other words, somewhere in your consciousness, out of fear, you may be holding on to a false belief. This false belief might have been constructed for you to survive at a different time in your life. This false belief might be what your parents told you. This false belief might be what society told you. But this false belief probably hasn't been looked at because there's fear consciousness around it. In other words, we're afraid to look, we're afraid to examine. But I think what will slingshot you forward from this breakdown to a breakthrough at step 23 will be identifying a fear and saying to yourself, you have a new theory or philosophy about it. So by changing your philosophy around the fears that hold you back, Sensei says you will rubber band forward. So be on the lookout for a false belief that could be holding you back today. Address it, bring it light, and find a new theory. Now, that said, Uranus himself is in the sign of Aries right now. And Uranus, which is the ruler of all these 13s, 4s, and 22s, Uranus is now at the Grand Master step of step 27 Aries. That means it's time for you to be stronger than ever. And that leads us to our tea time topic. So go steep yourself some tea, and let's have our Tuesday tea time. Hello, my friend, and welcome to our tea time. Today's tea time topic is Stronger Than Ever. This title comes from the fact that Uranus has now reached step 27 Aries. Aries consciousness is our ego, and for lack of a better term, it really defines our strength, how strong we are. Having Uranus at step 27 is really calling for humans to be stronger than they ever have been. That's because Uranus is on an 86-year cycle, so you have not lived with Uranus at this degree before in your life. You've not lived with the instigator and innovator, which is Uranus, calling for you to be stronger than ever. In fact, the last time Uranus was in Aries was 1935. This was just the same year that Hitler actually became the dictator of Germany, that August. And so that year, everyone as well, worldwide, not just in Germany, was being called to be stronger than ever. Of course, looking back in history, we can see why the universe was calling us to be strong that time. Let's pray this time it's for different reasons. But nonetheless, here it is again. And I have to actually say, I'll share with you that my personal midheaven in my natal chart is at step 27 Aries. So I'm currently experiencing a Uranus midheaven conjunction right now. And I have to say that now that it's at this point, I mean, I've worried about Uranus reaching this point. I've worried about what it would mean, how hard it would be for me to stand stronger than ever. But now that we're actually here, I think I get it, and I want to share. Now, I want to point out that Uranus will be at step 27 for most of this month. So the universe is calling for us to stand taller than we've ever stood before at a time that we are exploring our thoughts and we're exploring our emotions. And I actually think thoughts and emotions have a lot to do with people's perception of strength, particularly our thoughts. As a man who is working to become a Step 27 Aries, that's what your midheaven is, what you're working to become, I've been thinking about what does that mean my entire life? What is strength? And of course, I've always pushed myself. I've been hard on myself. I've never let go. I've never given up, no matter how many times I've been knocked down. But as I reach this Step 27 point, and perhaps it's because it's a master degree, I'm starting to realize that strength has a lot more to do with our mindset and our emotions than it does with actual strength. There's one way to feel strong, and that's by trying and doing and succeeding. Even if you fail a few times, you start to feel strong over the period of time. In fact, strength is not really something you experience when you're trying something. It's more of something that you experience after you have tried and failed and recuperated, or tried and succeeded. It almost takes this sort of rite of passage for us to, quote, feel strong. And what I've discovered on my path to Step 27 is that a lot of my strength moment to moment really comes down to my mindset and my feelings. I'll give you an example. I'm a person that lifts weights just to try to stay in shape and keep myself young looking, says the Leo rising. And I got to tell you, it's like there's days when I feel strong in the gym, and there's days when I don't feel strong in the gym. And I've really looked at myself to go, what's the difference? You know, I might have gotten the same sleep. I might have gotten the same nutrition. So what is the difference between yesterday and today's strength? And what I realized was very much of it was, in fact, my mindset. If I was thinking about how heavy this is or how many times I have to do it, if I was thinking about when is this damn workout end anyways, and I was counting the minutes and watching the clock, when my mind is basically predispositioned or prejudiced to thinking that it's hard, then I found that I felt weaker. I felt weaker when my mind was focusing on how hard it was. Now, I couldn't do the reverse and just focus on my mind calling it easy, because my mind kind of played this bullshit game with myself. I was like, this is easy. My mind's like, bullshit. You know, like right away it argues with me. That's why I call it the smart ass, by the way. But I did find that by focusing on something outside of the question of whether I'm strong or not, or whether I have the energy or not, or whatever, such as focusing on a step number or focusing on a spot on the ceiling, by focusing my mind away from the question of am I strong, I found that I was stronger than ever. So it showed to me that my mind often is the smartass that determines whether or not I am strong or not, because my mind will have some sort of prejudice as to whether I can accomplish this or not. The other aspect is our emotions. And truthfully, if you feel tired or you feel worn down or you feel beat up, then you won't also feel very strong. So I've definitely found that I have to be feeling good and nurture myself for me to ever expect myself to feel strong. I won't feel strong if I feel tired. I won't feel strong if I feel hungry. It may seem obvious, but for people when they're trying to be stronger than they've ever been, you really got to have the basics down if you expect to go farther than you've ever gone before. But not only that, I've also found that my emotions can make me stronger if they are correctly nurtured. In other words, if my mind, which works with my emotions, is constantly encouraging myself, constantly saying things to myself that makes myself feel good, basically, if my mind is coaching my feelings to feel better about the situation, then I actually can lift even more weight, and I feel strong, and I feel like a winner. So strength, as I aim for this Step 27 day, and I think it's ironic that I'm telling you what I think of Step 27 as Uranus conjuncts my midheaven, but I believe that for us to be stronger than we've ever been before, it's nothing outside of yourself that you have to do. It's all inside of yourself. It's your mindset, which is what today in the Sun in Gemini is all about at Step 22. And it's about how you feel and how well you are responding to your feelings. Are you being a critic? Are you being mean? Or are you encouraging yourself and being a cheerleader for yourself? The emotion is the 2 plus the 2. One last tip I will leave with you, something I've learned in my ambition to be a Step 27 Aries, is that a lot of strength is based on your focus also. If you put your focus on a 12 different things at once, you will not feel strong because your energy is overscattered. Focus is very important in what you're trying to become stronger at. You can't lift up the whole thing. You should lift up portions of it or what you can lift. So that said, I believe that Uranus in Aries right now is pushing us to be stronger. And wherever Uranus in Aries happens to fall in your natal chart and your sun sign chart, I believe is the place that you should be focusing right now the most. This is where you should stand up and be the tallest, because if you can be the tallest from that focal point, I believe that strength will carry over to all the rest of your life. Now, for those who are subscribers to my personal Sensei service, today I have gone through the trouble in your pep talk to outline where in your life, according to your natal chart, you should be focusing your strength. Focus on that place that I mentioned in the pep talk, and you'll find that your strength covers through to the rest of your story. And for those who are interested in finding out where their planets may lie, you can try my personal Sensei service for just $3.99. Got to do a strong plug there for my life's work, which is part of this Step 27. If you haven't experienced it before, please come on down. This is the best time right now astrologically for you to have soul support 7 days a week. That's personal. All right, my friends, stand tall, be counted, be strong. Remember, it's a mindset. And remember, I'll be back tomorrow to encourage you some more. Until then, remember, I love you. And to live, love, be.
Live, love, be.